Hello everyone and welcome to the 8th and final lesson of the Construct Game Dev course for beginners. In this class I'm going to teach how to make a title screen for the game, which is kind of the last thing we generally do for games, is wrap it all up with a title screen, maybe some credits as well. So I'll show you where we're heading. So this is our title screen for the game. You'll notice that there's a nice logo in the middle. It's telling us to press the key to play, and yeah, bit of a fake scene going on there. Then I press play, I press space, and it takes me to the game. And of course there was music playing in both the title and the main game. So that's where we're heading today. Why don't we jump in? First, I'll just say a quick word about the theme and your title screen. So I guess, of course, the title screen, the theme of the title screen should really match your game as much as possible. I've done a bit of research on title screens, and I really like this title screen because it's simple but quite beautiful. When the game is playing, there's movement in the background, and there's a nice music playing that kind of gives the impression of this like isolated, kind of twisted, spacey world. So it's quite a nice composition for a title screen. Ours is probably a little bit simpler to build than that, because we don't have to build all of these assets ourselves. But it should give you a good idea on how to make one yourself. So I'm going to start then by creating a new layout for the title screen itself. So I'll add an event sheet as well. But I'll call the new layout title screen. I'm just going to copy that actually while I'm here. And then I'm going to rename the event sheet to be the same. So we now have a nice empty layout. And in here, I'm going to start by just sort of building up the background and the kind of scene of the title. I'm going to put the logo, the words in last, okay? So the first thing I'll do is I'll take the same background that we had in the main game. I'm going to drop that in our scene. And I'm going to, of course, I like my things to be nicely positioned, so I'm going to right click on this and lock it in place as well. I'm also going to add in the player spacecraft and the enemy spacecraft to create that kind of look of a bit of an action sequence. Sorry, that's the enemy. I'll need more of those in a moment. 2, 3, so we'll use those in a moment. But here's the player first. Okay, the player also had the afterburner, didn't they? There we go, the afterburner. So I'll zoom in and connect those two things together. I think the afterburner was a bit smaller originally, so I'm going to, with it selected, I can hold shift and then resize it, and that will resize it keeping the aspect ratio so it doesn't get warped. Okay, so close enough. I think the spaceship needs to be on top of the afterburner, so I'll go Z order, center top of layer. That looks a bit better. And of course, if I shift, select, and then right click, I can add this back to the hierarchy. Cool. The last thing I'll do there is set the hierarchy mode to wrap. Now whenever I move the player again, the afterburner goes with it. And yeah, time to, I think I'll scale the player up a little bit. So again, holding shift on the keyboard, make it a bit bigger to make it look like it's in the foreground, but not really. And if I move the mouse just past one of those, what do they call them, handles, then I can rotate it nicely, and there we go. That can be the player in the foreground of the spacecraft in the foreground. These enemies, I'm going to rotate them all together. So shift select and rotate them. I'll need to kind of rotate them individually as well, so they're kind of aiming at the player. That one is almost right. Yep, and this one, yep. Cool. So they're kind of chasing the player, that's the idea. And the player's like trying to get away. All right, so I'll put that down the bottom. Cool, so that's kind of the scene. And then I'll add some music. So I don't think I've shown you how to look for music specifically before, so I'll do that real quick. So again, at Open Game Art, if I type space, there's plenty of actually quite sweet music to listen to. So I will, so I can filter just music, and I can listen to some of these samples Ooh, but too melancholic for me. It's quite a moody one. It feels like a gameplay one. Anyway, so there's plenty of them for you to get into. I've already found one I like, so I'm going to go ahead to the music section of my project. I'm going to import some music. I'll go and browse to the music I liked. So this is the music that I liked for the title screen. Import that. I can preview it here. Yep, so yep, that's what I wanted. Cool, so what I'll do is I'll queue that up to play as soon as the title screen is open. So I can go and do that in the event sheet now. So I'll open the title screen event sheet and I'll add the first event, which is the system on layout start, and then I'm going to I think I need to add an audio source. Well, I'll do this first. So I need to then play, and I need to choose my soundtrack. I think the volume was about right, and I'll loop it. Okay, cool, so done that. Now this won't play because I forgot to introduce the audio source. It is playing. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. The audio source I forgot. I added that into the project earlier from the main game. Okay, great. So I've just noticed that the camera, the game is like more zoomed in than I was expecting. So, and also the enemy ships are moving. So let's fix the enemy ships first. That's because they have a bullet behavior from the main game. So I will disable the bullet behavior. I don't need to disable that. The player as well. Does the player have any? Hold shift just to select the player. I mean, I can turn that off. Doesn't really make any difference. Cool. Now, why was it zoomed in? Sorry, the reason that the title screen is not centered where I expect it to be is because the player's behavior of shift selected the thing of scroll to is enabled. So if I disable that, then the camera won't move to the player anymore. And there we go. So that's going to be basically the kind of background of our title screen, which looks good enough to me. Cool. I could even make that. Yeah, I'm going to make this guy a bit bigger. Shift select, and then hold shift. I'm going to make our player a little bit bigger. Okay, cool. So there we go. We're almost done here. Yeah, so I want to add some particle effects. I want to add some kind of moving stars to make it look like the spaceship is actually moving through space. And to do this, I'm going to introduce something called particle effects, which we haven't done yet, but is actually relatively easy to use. So what I'm going to do now is to insert a particles like this, and I'm just going to put it somewhere here. And now what this particle effect thing is going to do, basically spray stars up into the screen. So I'll need to draw a little particle effect because I haven't prepared one already. So I will start with a little circle, make sure I've got white color selected. I don't need a border, but it will fill nicely. So I'll put a little circle in the middle of the thing like that. Yeah, close enough. And then I'm just going to put a sort of a cross over it to make it look like a star. So I could even be a bit fancy about this, and I could go like, brush. Yeah, this is right. So I could maybe go wee like this, and wee like that. And that's not perfect. It shouldn't look perfect because it's kind of meant to be a star. Oh, that was pretty bad though. Let's try this again. There we go, and we're almost there. You can draw these with straight lines, but I personally think it looks a bit better when you kind of hand draw it. It looks a bit more organic. Okay, cool. So there's a star. Believe it or not, let's test that out. So I'm going to close that now. That did end up quite large. Hang on, I'm gonna run this. So I'll turn this around as well. So hold shift face this thing into my title screen and press play. Let's see what happens. So what happened? It's not working for some reason. So continuous spray. Let's just put this in the middle of the screen and play. Oh, because they're dying before. Yeah, so I forgot. So initially they won't make it across the screen. I have to fiddle with some of the values. Right, so that was the particle gun kind of shooting some stars. I want to play with some of the values, and I encourage you to have a play with these as well. So I'm going to make the rate, that's the number, basically the number of stars that shoot out per second or whatever. I'm going to reduce that to 10. I'm going to make this spray cone, which is the kind of the angle at which they come out. I'll make that like 45, I think. Kind of want it to be mostly around the player. Continuous spray is correct. And then there's some settings here. So I'd like them to be 200 sounds fine for speed. Maybe I'll reduce the size a little bit. They came out a little bit big, so maybe like 15. Their opacity, that's fine. What else did I want? I would like them to like get smaller as they flow across the screen to make it look like they're disappearing into the distance. So I'm going to set the growth rate to like -10. Let's see how that looks. And there's some other things here. Is that size randomizer? Yeah, so I could make these, I don't know what these numbers should be, but let's say they're randomly sized by number of 5 and see how that goes. The acceleration, right, so acceleration, oh yeah, maybe, well let's leave that as it is. I don't want to fiddle too many things at once actually. Fade to invisible. Now, I'd like them to really make it across the screen, so I'm going to set this like 20 seconds so that they only fade like towards the back of the title. Let's see what happens with all of those changes. Okay, nothing yet. What's happening? I need to move this onto the screen to know what's happening. Hang on. Let's have a look. I'll make it bigger. Alright, so they're tiny and they're not going very far. Okay, so why are they not going very far? Oh, they're stopping as well. So maybe this acceleration needs to be much lower. So let's say like -50. They're stopping and disappearing. So that's why we don't see them for very long. Okay, now why are they disappearing so quickly? Because maybe that's too big. So let's go with -2 there, so they don't vanish too quickly. Okay, that's looking a bit better. I feel like we're almost there. They just need to hang around on the screen or make it further across the screen. Yeah, so we're almost there. Maybe this acceleration, the negative acceleration means they're stopping over time. Maybe they're just... Yeah, that's looking better. Okay, so let's just change now the size to like 30, I think it was 30 initially, and let's just try this out. Okay. Yeah, cool, close, it's close enough. You can obviously fiddle with these a bit more yourself. I actually make that a bit smaller. So now I'm going to position this off screen, and I want to probably make the speed a little bit higher. Okay, let's try this. So I want to make sure that this looks like the spaceship is flying through space. Yep, it kind of would if the stars weren't flying over the ship. So let's just fix that. Yeah, cool. So let's put all of these at the top. So Z order, move to the top. And same with this guy, Z order, move to the top. Now the stars should be behind, which... Yeah, close enough, right? So that kind of looks like the spaceship is kind of flying through space now. Okay. Now we just need to go away and work on the logo. A quick way to do this is to go and create your own logo at what is it? Fontmeme.com, and we can go in here I can search for fonts now. So if I search for space, for example, then there's a bunch of, oh, I didn't see that one earlier. That's quite cool. Yeah, so I'm going to name my game Chain Reaction. So yeah, I typed that in there earlier, and that's why it's there now. You can type whatever you want. Atmospheric, cool. I would also, oh, I can even apply gradients here, but I'll do that myself later. And yes, I want this to be set to white. So just moving that all the way up, we'll set it to white. And the size I want to be about 150. Cool, so now I can go ahead and generate. Oh, okay. So I can click on generate. I won't see it because it's on a white background. So if I change it to black and then click generate. Okay, I see it in black now, which is perfect. I actually want it to be in white, so I'm going to shift it up and regenerate. Cool, cool. Now all I need to do is to, I can actually open the image in a new tab. Cool, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to need to use this, and you can probably guess where I'm going to use it, which is in Gimp. I'm going to use Gimp to zhuzh it up a little bit, to add a bit more interest to it. Okay, so I'm going to create a new image. I'm going to make it, 1000 by 1000 pixels. I'm also going to fill the background with transparency, and that's just so that I have a nice transparent background to work on. Cool. And my first layer is going to be that font. I'm surprised that this is creating such a massive logo. I guess it's a lot. My text is long, to be fair. So I'm gonna reduce this down to like 65. Generate it and hope that it fits. Okay. So there we go. I will. Where is it? Just copy it straight from there. Back into Gimp. I don't need to scale anything. Let's try and paste it in here. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so yeah, go back and forth until you get your logo fitting on the screen, okay? Straight away I'm going to just move it up the screen a bit. So I'm just pressing up on the keyboard. Okay, cool, just so it's in the center. Now I'm gonna add a black outline. So first thing I'll do is make this selection a bit larger. I'm gonna right click on it, I'm gonna go select. Okay, I need to do the selection again. So the first thing I'll do is, because I've got this layer floating, that's right. So I'm going to now anchor this to the single layer I have. I will rename this layer to title. Cool. And yeah, so now when I select again, I want to select the whole thing, of the whole label. So I'm going to go to the select by color. I'm going to select by alpha. So I'm going to click in the background to select the alpha. Then I'm going to go Control I to invert the selection. And you'll see in the selection editor, if you have that there, the white part is the selected text. So just the text is selected. Cool. So now I want to add the black outline. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to go to select and grow. And I'll grow it by about 15 pixels. Cool. That's too big. So that's Control Z that. I'll grow this by about 10 pixels. See, this font is actually quite wide, but yeah, it's a wide font, but not necessarily a big font. Okay, so grow this. I'm going to go with about 10 pixels for my outline. Yep, that looks fine. And I'm going to Control C, copy it, and then I'm going to go Edit, and then I'm going to paste it into a new layer. Okay, and this new layer I'm going to call the outline. And I'm going to put it below. Okay, now that I'm selected, I've just have that layer selected. I'm going to fill that with black. So I'm going to go to the fill tool, make sure I have so normal mode, and I need to select a black color. So I'll just grab one that I've got from before, but otherwise I can just drag down there. And I'll fill the, so that's looking good. Cool. So that's a black outline. I'm going to make a shadow on it as well to give it a bit more of a 3D look. So what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to straight away duplicate the outline layer. I'm going to move it below it, I'm going to call it the outline background. Cool. And then I press M for move, and I can move this down. Okay. And it gives it a little bit of a 3D effect. I don't want to go overboard with it, but that looks fine at the moment. So that's the kind of a little bit of a shadow, but really it's 3D effect. Now I want to color the white, so I'm going to go back to the title and Control Shift A to select nothing. Right, I want to select the title again, so I'll go through the same selection process as before. So with the select by color, select by alpha, select the background, and then Control I to select just the text. Now I want to add a gradient. So the gradient tool is, where is it again? Gradient tool is there. Let me think. So I'm going to go from like purple to orange, I think, and see how that looks. I have this kind of orange theme in my game. I don't know how well these colors are going to grade, but let's have a look. So those are the two colors that are going to be on my gradient. And yes, I just need to select that. That's fine. I don't need to select anything else. So now if I click somewhere above and yeah, actually I want it to go from light to dark, so I'm going to switch that around. So I'll Control Z. I'll switch these two colors around. Let's try this again. Yeah, I like that. Maybe a little bit more. That's fine. Okay, got a nice gradient on there. And now the exciting part. So I can add some filter effects to that text as well. So without changing the selection, I can now go to filters, and there are so many of these to play with. Bloom is an interesting one. I'm going to go straight to supernova because I know I like it, and I'm going to add a supernova with a color kind of gold, something like this. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and now there's the supernova kind of in the middle. I can move these parts around if I want to give it a bit more distance, and yeah, that. Maybe I could move this over to one side. Let me see what that looks like. So I'll put this over here. So it's just to one side. Yeah, I kind of like it being off the end there for some reason. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's my supernova filter effect. But yeah, have a play. See what else you can find there. They're quite cool. All right, then to finish this off, I'm going to add a white outline to the whole thing. Okay, so right. So what I need to do now is add a layer group so that I can kind of work on the image as a whole. So I'm going to go to new. Where is it? New layer group. I'm going to call this the title group. Cool. And I have to move these one at a time in here. I cannot select multiple layers in Gimp, so just remove that. And yeah, so now with the whole layer group selected, I'm going to do this selection thing one more time, right? So the select by color, select alpha, and then Control I. There we go. I've got this whole kind of block of stuff selected now, and this is where I want to add an outline. So again, I'm going to grow the selection. So select and grow, and I will grow it by like, I don't want it to be thick, not 50. Try 5. Yeah, that could do it. And that's going to be my white outline. So yeah, I'll copy that, Control C, and then I'm going to edit and paste it as a new layer, right? And this is going to go underneath everything. It will eventually. Okay, so this is going to be the white outline. Cool. I'll drop. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. So that's my white outline. And now when I do another fill, so right click, bucket fill, and make this one white. Then if I click the little like this, there we go. So now I've got a white outline, and yeah, that's looking pretty good so far. I quite like that. I'm going to give it a bit of a tilt so it has that kind of Star Wars 3D tilted look to it. I want to tilt the whole thing. Do I need another group? Yeah, I need another group. So I need to do another layer group, and I'll just call this one, well, first I'll just chuck everything in there. So there we go. This new layer group can be called the title super group, right? Okay, and this thing is what I want to give that tilt to. So if I go tools and then transform tools, I think I can do this just on the layer. So if I go, yeah, there we go. I don't think I needed to group that at all, actually. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. Who knows? So, I don't know. Does that look okay? You know what? Like, I'll transform it, okay? I'll leave it there. If I really want to make sure it looks good, I'm going to go new layer called the background. And I'm going to put in, and obviously I'm going to move that out of there. I'm going to put that right at the bottom, and I'm going to insert the seamless space background in there, just so I can have a look at what it looks like. Will it work if I do this? Yeah, cool. Alright, sweet. So, yeah, great. Yeah, oh, it's just created I can delete the other one. So I think I might actually give that a slight bit more tilt. So tools, 3D transform. Yeah, probably I should have done this all in one go, but anyway. Because now it's starting to look a bit pixelated, isn't it? Okay. But that's fine. That looks good. Right, cool. So I'm ready to export, so I'm just hiding the background. Cool, and I'm ready to export. So file, export, and yeah, just chuck it straight in there for me, please. Yep, there's a PNG file. Export with the default settings. Let's go have a look at it. So I'm going to go, where is it? Title logo here. Let's have a look. Yeah, pretty cool. I like it. It has the orange and the purple. Let's see how it looks in the game. So we are now ready to inject that cool logo I created into the game. So let's just drop it straight in there. Yeah, it turns out it's not as big as I thought. What? How did that happen? How does it come out smaller than I thought? Anyway, I could scale it if I wanted to. Let's just have a look. Yeah, I probably do need to scale this. So I'm going to hold shift again, scale this thing up a bit, all right? Which is not great because immediately it loses some resolution. Okay, I'm moving it up because I'm going to put that text underneath it to start the game. All right, so let's put this back near the top, and I'm going to make sure it's right at the top of the layer so that stars don't fly over the top of it. I have to lock everything again, so I'll lock this background. I'll leave it for now. Let's just play this and see how this title screen's looking. Yeah, see, it's a little bit pixelated because I scaled it up. Can't make it perfect. I'll have to come back for a second run at that. So that's not bad. I want to move it down a bit, so like that. Yeah, cool. So we've got everything just about finished. The only thing that I'd like to do now is to add that little bit of text underneath that tells us when to start the game. Okay, so this is sort of a bit more basic, I guess. I'm going to add a text element. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to make it bigger. Cool. And that's where it's going to say press any key to play. Right, so now a font. So we can probably do better than Arial. So, well, I might go with monospace then. Pretty basic, but I think it'll do the job. Go with monospace, click OK, and yeah, of course I want to, let's change the color straight away. So let's put this into that kind of orange area, and like that. And I will also make it bold. I'll make it much, much bigger. Okay, I'm going to center it horizontally centered. How's that looking? Okay, so yeah, pretty basic, but it's going to do the job. Now, I will make that slightly more interesting by making it fade in and out, okay? So to do that, I will go to while I have the font selected, I'm going to add a behavior called sign. And sign, as you'll see, is a waveform that allows us to kind of ease things in and out, okay? So I've added that behavior, and now I can play with it a little bit. So the movement, I don't want it to move actually, I want the opacity, I want it to fade in and out of visibility. I'm going to set it to about 3.5 seconds, and I think that'll do. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, I feel like things are a little bit out of proportion, so I could probably, I'm going to hold shift to scale that up a little bit. I know the resolution is going to get even worse, but I need that to be bigger. So yeah, learn from my mistakes. Okay, cool. Roughly centered. This guy is, I feel like this guy is way too big. So I'm going to go back to the font size. Do something like that. And this, okay, I'm going to lock. Can I shift and select the, can I get to shift, can I select the player anyhow? Maybe if I'll have to lock it. I'm going to lock this in place, so lock selection. I'm gonna make him, I feel like he was a little bit too big now. Let's go like that. And let's play. Cool, so some fake stars. Yeah, it's not bad. Like it's not amazing, but it gets the job done. I feel it sets the mood. The colors match well enough, and it sort of tells the player immediately what the game is about. One little tweak I might do is actually, I think I can probably make this a bit bigger. If I make that angle wider, I feel like I'm going to get more fill with the stars. Yeah, okay, that's good enough. Cool, so there we have it, a nice title screen, and now we just need to get it to actually play the game, right? So in order to make it play the game, I need to do two things. First, I'm going to move the title screen above the deep space layout. So deep space is the main game, and you'll see why in a moment. Now I'm going to open the title screen layer event sheet, and I'm going to add a keyboard event. So on any key pressed, that's the one I like. Then I will do this. I will do a system layout. I'm going to go to the next previous layout. Which layout? The next one. So why did I move the title above the deep space? Because I wanted the title to be the first layout, the main game to be the second layout. So when it says load the next layout, it means it's going to load the deep space layout. So let's try this out. So play the game, bit of moody music, press space, and I'm in. Okay, I'm into the game, and of course the music needs to change, so let's just fix that up quickly. So in the title screen layout, I need to kill the existing music, so I'm going to go and I'm going to say stop all. Right, so that should stop the music. That was part one, and I really want to play some cool music in the actual game now. So I go to this is my event sheet for the main game. So I'm going to add another one, and it's going to be a system on layout start. No, okay, so I'll go right click, import music, and I'm going to add the music that I want. So I downloaded some from OpenGameOut earlier, and there we go. There we go. So import that. I will preview it. Cool. As you can see, the music's quite loud, so I'm guessing I'm going to want to play that with a volume reduction straight away. So I'm going to play this music when the main game starts. I will loop it, and I'll set the volume to -10 to reduce that by about a half. Cool. Pressing any key. There we have it. The music in the main game. So there we have it. There's your. Hopefully that's your game all wrapped up. I hope you've all enjoyed working on and making your games unique, however you have. And yeah, hopefully you've all learned something too. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.